Welcome back, everybody, to the Beggars Canyon Boys, episode 27. We're back. We had a week off, but guess what? We're back, and we're in the sprint to Revenge of the Sith to get our boy Ryan to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters April 25th. Really important deadline because we gotta watch it in theaters.
I like that we're sprinting too, because before it was like the very slow crawl through some glass to get here to Phantom Menace.
Some glass, but a lot of sweet treats as well. How about a mixture of, it's like, you know, how the parents were worried about like glass shards being in candy. Like that was
some of it was just the candy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of it was just glass-free candy. But you're not wrong. There was glass in there.
And you're not wrong. There was candy in there.
Thank you. And you're welcome for saying you weren't wrong. We're gonna do like a sprint to Revenge of the Sith, and then we might have to backpedal a little bit and fill in some highlights, but it won't be as slow. But you know what? Today I figured more so than the other two prequels, in my opinion, just because this is the first one of the prequels. It sort of sets the tone for a whole new era of movie making, of George Lucas's style and everything. It'd still be good to do one of these aftermath episodes for Phantom Menace. And there's interesting behind the scenes stuff for the other two movies too, but I think this is the most interesting.
I like that documentary a lot.
Yeah, that was super cool. I've seen it a couple times, but I watched it again because I forgot a lot of the little details in it. It is pretty eye-opening about like the movie in general. I feel like we're talking about the beginning, the making of the Phantom Menace, about an hour-long documentary. It's on YouTube, but it's really, really high quality behind-the-scenes material about the movie. Today be Phantom Menace Fallout. Talk about that documentary. Talk about some merchandise, some fan response, some general consensus, maybe any updated thoughts we have about the movie, and then we'll throw in some more material as well. We read a Darth Maul miniseries that came out in 2000. We read the Return of the Jedi manga that came out around then as well, rounding out our original trilogy manga adaptations.
Do they have one for the Phantom Menace, by the way?
They do have one for the Phantom Menace. They didn't do it for the other two movies, but
okay. And
it's only 2 issues also, as opposed to 4, so might be worth checking out as well. But I'm at least interested in looking at it. I haven't checked that out, but then we'll just shoot the shit. We got an epic segment too. We I heard that it's best to have segments in your podcast, right, for viral engagement. So I thought of a super original and exciting segment for us
for today.
Yes, for today.
Wow. Okay. Blindsided, by the way. So we'll see.
It'll be riveting and exhilarating for our audio only listeners too.
Oh,
because
okay.
There's
a
slideshow visual component. Yeah, we'll describe them.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make sure I don't.
This is kind of like an R2D2-esque creature. That's how I'll describe things.
There are creatures that are R2D2-esque?
Yeah. So it's a good enough description that it leaves a lot up to the imagination for our, I was going to say blind viewers, but I guess you're not necessarily blind if you're just listening.
Yeah, probably not, but maybe. Yeah. Hey.
I'm thinking of them.
That's kind of you.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to start with first? All right. Well, I'll ask and answer my own question. We've talked about it a little bit now that it's been a couple weeks since you've seen the movie, but I would like to know any updated thoughts you're having now that you've sat with it for a while.
Yeah, the overwhelming thought that I've told a few people, and I know I've told you, is just like as time moves forward and I get more time to think about the movie, I start to like it less and less. And I honestly, I think part of the issue, and not that this should like mean so much, because really, well, I was going to use the word like there's a lot more iconic moments in the first Star Wars movie, and I was going to say there's not as many here, but I will just say more so like movie isn't as memorable in general to me, like beat by beat, moment to moment.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, I still like what I liked, but overall, it didn't feel as like heavily a Star Wars movie as I thought it was going to. You know?
I feel you. It's very messy. It's a lot of like moving plot beats that don't fuse together as well as they should. And I mean, the first movie is just so tightly paced and simple in a good way, I feel
Yeah.
like. Whereas this one is kind of all over the place and doesn't have that like driving through line or like clear stakes or all this stuff. So I totally I feel you. But man, there's just so much I do love about the movie still personally.
There's definitely like cool moments, but again, I don't know, and maybe I'll learn to love it more and more as we go on. Just like I sort of softened up on the first movie when I watched the other two parts of the trilogy. But I don't know. It's like to me, there's like way less cool moments, and there's a lot more just like okay, these people are yapping, which like I love characterization and like actual like learning about the power dynamics of everything that's going on and like how people react to each other and their own machinations and whatnot. But that didn't feel as like satisfying in this or
No.
like really fleshed out. So I was like, yeah,
I think you're right. I feel like a lot of the talking is exposition and moving plot pieces forward rather than like really giving us a good insight at who these people are, how they feel about everything.
yeah, it says things explicitly for the viewer. You know, it's like I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
you're just saying that to world build for me, which that's why I'm like, okay, I will hold out hope that like this is just a big key component to making the next two of these prequels really special and work. So that's that's potentially the
Yeah.
case here.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm optimistic still.
I would say that is like a big part of it is he felt what do I know how he felt, but it seems like he felt obligated to really dump a lot of info to like explain the state of the universe at this time and everything, which is fair. I mean, there's a lot going on, but I don't know. That's what's so beautiful about the first movie is like that's even more of a foreign world the first time we watch it there because at least in this one we know what Jedi are. We know we've heard references to the past. We know that like there was a republic that falls to the empire and all this and we can fill in a lot of the pieces, but the first movie like feel like a masterclass in like just kind of letting the world like speak for itself and like you just kind of figure it out. Like it's not that like nitty gritty in the first one, I guess. It's pretty broad, but like
Yeah.
that works because it's a whole new thing for you to like wrap your head around and everything.
Yeah, I
It-
guess I don't know if it explicitly is like a case of less is more there, but it does seem like that a little bit when it comes to episode 4 versus episode 1. You know,
I
like
think so.
he may have went overboard with trying to like lore build it out a little bit, you know, and like create these big conflicts that have to do like with galaxy. Oh well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I got to see it. It's hard to say some of this stuff too without having the full context of like the story because he makes these with the other movies in mind. So sometimes I feel
Yes.
it's like not entirely fair to like judge one like this, but then again, that's how they're released, and like this is meant to be a complete story in and of
Yeah,
itself.
I mean, I feel what you're saying, but I do still think it's like it needs to stand on its own merits as an individual movie. Like it is a movie. You should be able to enjoy it without the other pieces, even if it
Yeah,
is a big series and they all work together to create a big story. Each piece has to be its own good story in and of itself. So I think you can still validly critique it without seeing what's coming. But you are right. Like, I know we talked about it the first time. The first movie he's not sure if there's going to be a second one. You
Yeah.
know, when the first one's coming out, so you got to put the whole story in right there. And this one, you know, there's going to be two more, so he's kind of just doing a lot of setup.
It was interesting here, and sort of dive right into the documentary,
No,
but
no.
it was interesting to hear from him there when he was saying like, yeah, like we have to figure out the proper procedures to not only make things like to streamline things for this film and all our special effects processes and whatnot, but for the next two films, and if this works, everyone's gonna want to be doing this. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, wow, it's interesting. He like, and I don't know what actually came out of that, that is like an industry standard or in use or anything. But I was like interested that they were saying even like the procedurally what they're gonna do, like the pathway to it will be used in the
I
future.
mean, they're he's totally right though. Like, I don't know the technical aspect of it that well, of like CGI and everything like that, but in terms of like virtual sets, virtual environments, CGI, like companion characters, all that, like he was 100% right that that would like become something that all these big budget adventure action movies, you know, start doing.
Yeah.
And
Would it have become that, or did George Lucas force it to become that?
I don't know. I mean, he's not the only one, you know. Jurassic
No, I
Park
know.
is another big step in that direction, I feel like too, but this was afterwards, and this, you know, they're inventing new technologies for this. Like, they have that no one's made like full CGI sets before, which like I don't like. I think it's bad, but it became kind of a norm, and now like virtual sets are everywhere. Like,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. If I'm remembering right, too, I think there's a shot in the beginning of this documentary where George Lucas they literally have the storyboard out, and he has got two highlighters, and he's marking like what is going to be practical and what's going to be CGI on
yeah,
it.
I have that written down in my notes. That is a crazy moment.
Yeah, that was really interesting to watch. Also, that whole time I was like, I'm sure this is helpful to some degree, but like it kind of looks like George Lucas is just like making things really hard to look at on
Yeah,
this storyboard for
yeah.
everyone.
I mean, you're not wrong, but it must have been an overwhelming workflow. I'm sure now they've got it all figured out, you know, for like Avatar 3 or something like that. Like,
Hmm.
they've got the workflow figured out, but that, you know, I mean, he's doing what he's done in the past too, of like they go and scout like students who have experience in like 3D modeling or design, and like hire them. So that's a way to like save some money, but also I think really cool to like give these unknown people an opportunity to like work on something big.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he's kind of just firing from the hip about everything, and being a little bit of a CGI cowboy. But
I will say though, dude, the documentary, like I love this documentary a lot because it made me feel like I was part of like the George Lucas crew. Like I feel like I was working with them. Like I got to know what the kind of the day to day was like, and it was super super fascinating too. To like, I mean, yeah, making movies is a business. I did know that, but the way that they're like crunching numbers and being like, okay, we just determined that like if we have when they were trying to decide whether to do Jar Jar Binks like completely practical or like CGI
right,
head or whatever they wanted to do, they had all these comparison charts scene by scene for like, okay, well, there's a CGI background in the scene anyway, so we're already gonna have CGI workers working on it. So they like factored in that they'd be saving like $1.4 million if they just went the CGI route with it instead of going the practical route. And then George was
yeah,
like, "Oh well, we blew $100,000 on the suit then." And the one of the like animators or what was like, well, I know it's helpful for like the shadowing and figuring out where that is too. So it's just like I don't know, it's a very very complicated piece of machinery making the movie.
for
It's like
real.
really really fascinating to see.
I agree. I like a great documentary, a really cool look into it, and it's not like, you know, your super highly produced like after the fact with rose-colored glasses type of documentary either. Like you said it well, but you really feel like you're in the trenches of the movie getting made and like all the frustration of it and everything. And
Yeah.
I mean, uh, uh, just before I forget, you reminded me when you're talking about Jar Jar being practical versus CGI. Did you happen to see anything about in your research about Michael Jackson wanting to be involved in this movie?
No, he wanted to play Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
Wow.
He was gunning really hard to be Jar Jar Binks, and he said like, "No, I'm not going to do it unless it's totally practical." And also George Lucas was like, "Well, this is a story I've heard from the guy who plays Jar Jar, Ahmed Best, but on a podcast I listened to where he was talking about it, but he was like, what he thought the real reason was why Michael Jackson's not a part of it is because he didn't want like a big name like that to like take people out of the immersion of the world, I guess. And like, yeah, you got like Liam Neeson in there and stuff, but you know, he looks like he belongs there and everything. It's not like Michael Jackson would necessarily look like he doesn't belong or whatever, but that would just be such like a news story, such like a gimmicky type of thing, I feel like.
Yeah. That would have been so strange.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was something that might have happened.
Wow. I'm sure all the people who love AI and nerd stuff are going out there and making little Michael Jackson Jar Jar Binks what if clips with it.
Maybe so. I haven't seen any of that, but you might be right.
I don't know. First thing that came to mind was those terrible, like, what if Bob's Burgers was real AI videos? Where it's like,
yeah. Oh, God. Dude, this with the Studio Ghibli style.
Yeah.
Wah. Makes me sad.
Well, but that is that's interesting. I'm curious if we'll get any other I was gonna say if we'll get any other celebrities who will take part in Star Wars in the future, but I mean like pop artists or anything like that. If we do get anyone like that.
Yeah, George Lucas and Michael Jackson were like buddies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do you know about like Captain EO?
No. Is this a good story or a sad story?
Nothing to do with bad stuff. But Captain EO was like this little short made for Disney World, like a sci-fi musical. There are people who know all about the behind the scenes of this and everything, but if I remember correctly, it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola and produced by George Lucas. And
wow,
it was like this whole thing. Anyway, they had a relationship.
That's good, man. George Lucas has done a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
like, I appreciate his exploration, his willingness to explore creatively. I think that's a good aspect of George Lucas. George Lucas, great job, Georgie.
Hey, you know, nobody's perfect. Nobody's nerfect, even some would say. But you're so right. He's an innovator. He's a thinker. He's a businessman and a creative.
And happy birthday! Thank you for buying this cameo. Thank you, George.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I didn't know he was a fan. You're dropping that news on me right now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, he put in a request last night for a $5 cameo.
Oh, only $5?
What? You want more?
Well, he's
George
like a
Lucas.
billionaire. Bro.
You would do it for free, though. Come on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
but it's not actually going to him, so.
Well, okay. All right, I'll give you
$2.
I'll give you $2.
No, I'm taking all 5. Because we're using my computer.
Okay, I feel like I didn't most the message, and it's my video camera and mic. So the audio is mine and the video is mine.
Oh, okay. Well,
whatever's left on the computer after that stuff is yours.
You can have that.
Yeah.
Sorry, just checking it.
We're getting too off topic, Jackson. Let's go.
Okay. I was also going to say about the documentary. You mentioned, you thought in this one maybe he's trying too many different things and jamming too much into one thing. I feel like he kind of felt that way too. There's a part of the documentary where it's like the test screening for all the people who worked on it and everything, and like family and friends. And he said, like, he's watching it and kind of like, like not really feeling it, or I'm reading into
Was that
his
the pod
expressions
scene
or
when they were
whatever.
watching it?
No, that to my memory, it's toward the end of it, right before the John Williams like section of the documentary.
Oh, okay.
He's showing the rough cut of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and he says something like, "I may have, I may have done a little too much. I may have done too much in this one," and he's like feeling like, oh, the audience is getting pulled around too much and not
Yeah.
have any one thing to like lock in on.
Oh, okay. At least he's aware of it. That is interesting too, because he at least has that insight before going on to make the next two. So
Yep, that's true.
I wonder how that factors in and what he changes from Phantom Menace to Clone.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. I was like, Clone Wars, Clone Saga.
Clone Wars.
Give a dog a clone.
Yeah. What else about the documentary stood out to you? I thought. What else stood out to you? Now I'm going to tell you something that stood out to me. I'm sorry. I feel like I always do that, but it's usually like while I'm asking the question, something pops into my head of like, oh, we could talk about this. So I'm sorry for doing that.
I don't mind at all. That's just Jackson. You have such a passionate mind. Okay, 250. That'll be 250.
All right. Well,
because you don't have to pay for your half.
That's true. And maybe I actually owe you probably like 75 more cents or something for the half of the Coke that you gave me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That was a gift, but if you want to pay for it.
Well, I don't.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say pretty interesting when the part where they're auditioning people for young Anakin Skywalker.
Dude, yeah, the way they called out that one kid for being perfect, they were like, he's just hitting the beats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and I mean, I kind of think they were right. I forget the kid, but he had a little bit more of like a dark energy to him that, might have worked a little more for like the emotional beats and for planting the seeds of like, oh, this kid has like some fear and darkness in him. I mean, they say that a lot in the movie, but Jake Lloyd never really shows us that or gives us a hint into that. I mean, I think the moment where he's saying goodbye to his mom, it works pretty well and is nice. But that's in the documentary too, where they're like, let's do that again, but like less emotional.
Yeah.
Just like, what? Why?
Yeah, but it was cool. I like seeing all those Jake moments too, where like the cat, or not the cast, but that crew being like, okay, you've signed the contract now, and they're all like sort of celebrating and happy with him there too.
Yeah.
They're like talking to him about like, I guess he was allowed to tell his classmates that he was going to go work on Star Wars, which has got to be so cool. Like,
yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, instantly the most popular kid ever.
Before it came out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they knew what Star Wars was. Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying afterwards. I mean,
yeah, because of reaction.
Yeah.
Well, I did.
Infamous after that.
Yeah, part of me was like, I'm glad that I still don't really have a full knowledge of like how bad things got for him. Because it makes me so happy seeing him be like embraced like that into the Star Wars universe.
And I feel like they're really nice to him and they do a good job, at least in what we can see in the documentary. Like George Lucas does a good job of working with him and helping him like not get overwhelmed and stuff. Because there was that other part where he's kind of getting stressed out about like pronouncing the word.
Coruscant?
Yeah, he's going Coruscant.
Yeah. He's just like me, dude. I was like, wow. This resonates.
Hey, but yeah, I don't know. I wrote down that moment about the contract signing because in retrospect, it's like pretty sad because they're like, this is incredible. Like your life is going to change forever now. You're a part of Star Wars. It's like, yep, it will change forever. Yeah.
Do we know, was it a one movie contract? Was he like originally just set to be in that one?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was curious because with Ewan, because I think he had signed his contract too. I don't know if it was on the video, but he's in the next two, right?
Yeah.
So his was a 3-movie contract, presumably.
I would guess so. Yeah.
Huh.
And I mean, Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I would assume like Natalie Portman too has a multi-movie contract from the first one, but
Dude, I
who
feel like
knows?
I'm sorry to go so off top. I feel like Natalie
No.
Portman's character dies, like in this next movie, and I don't know how or why, or if that would make sense for the story, but just based on because I feel like I do have some imagery in my head of like Ewan and maybe an older Anakin like being together and fighting, but I have nothing in my head of like Natalie Portman in Star Wars still. Like,
Hey, we'll have to see. We'll
all
have to see what happens.
right, all right.
Yeah, she get grisly thought came to my head. She gets her throat slit by a box cutter in the second. A Jedi box cutter.
A Jedi box saber.
Let me blow my nose real quick. I'm sorry.
You go do that. I was gonna say. Imagine Darth Maul just shows up, rolls in. Yeah, it's so cool.
Oh yeah, but some awesome fight choreography behind the scenes moments as well.
Yeah, what were they just using like the lightsaber mantles? What's the word I'm looking for?
The hilts?
Hilts, yes,
Yeah.
thank you. The hilts with like a metal pipe just screwed on.
Yeah, it's like a little like hard plastic stick, I think. Or
Oh, okay.
Skinny or I
When they
forget.
film, is that what it is actually?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
and
so
then
they're
they
gonna
just-
use those.
I'm pretty sure. I'm
Oh.
pretty sure. Like because I've seen the filming of the actual shots used in the movie, and I'm pretty sure it is just that. They just put the effect around it. But I mean, it works really well.
Yeah,
They
man.
look awesome.
They were going at the God, just hearing all the clicking of the swords like hitting each other too was really satisfying. The speed which they were going was satisfying.
Yeah, dude. Like, shouts out to Ewan McGregor for like being able to do all that. Like,
I know. Did he have previous like fight choreography experience?
I don't know.
Couldn't have been
I
much
don't
if
know.
so, right?
Maybe he was like a fencer or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think I read something about that, but I forget. So I don't
Now,
know.
who plays Darth Maul?
His name's Ray Park.
Did he have experience?
Yes.
Like, because he's like that's
He's a
crazy
stunt
to get
guy.
someone to do that.
Yeah. He's a stunt guy, and that he originally wasn't even gonna be Darth Maul. He was just going to be like a helper in the fight choreography and stunts and everything. But they just liked how he looked moving so much that they gave him the part for it.
I get it, dude.
He's
He's so precise with it. Like,
yeah. And like the way he can like spin his body and do the step and like the flourish out like that and everything, he just looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, dude, and the concept art for Darth Maul was really cool too, with the gold armor,
Yeah.
shoulder pads,
like the daggers kind of sticking
Yeah,
out from
yeah.
the neck. Yeah, dude, that is. I thought that I wrote that down too. I was like, that is amazing artwork. You know what's funny? Really randomly today, I got an email from Sideshow, which I told you spoiled some Star Wars things from before.
They just put out a hot toy of that concept art.
Yeah,
I was about to
literally.
say,
And I was like, and it says concept art, and I was like, oh my god, that's so weird.
you just saw that in
Yeah.
the documentary. Yeah, I saw that too. Like
It looks cool.
2 or 3 days ago. Yeah, it looks really nice. I think it's like a Japan exclusive thing though.
Now
maybe.
I'm getting more and more sure that he's not showing back up in these prequel films
I don't know.
in any capacity. No more Darth Maul.
His voice is done by Peter Serafinowicz. This guy,
Nice last name.
you recognize that guy?
Yeah.
He's in Guardians of
Mhm.
the Galaxy and stuff. Yeah, so that's who does his voice in the
Okay.
movie.
Cool.
But anyway,
Oh, I also another moment I liked that endeared me a bit towards George Lucas was just obviously he cares a lot about Star Wars. He talked about how passionate he is about it and how like he has to really love it when he is going down one of these routes with a project like this. I liked watching him for the first time see Natalie and Jake come together and just like reading the script together.
Yeah.
And it cut back to George and he just like had this and he was doing his little smirk behind his hands. And I was like, this is so sweet. He's like he's really happy that they're delivering his work to be a part of like this big experience for them, I think. Like it was just a nice little moment.
yeah, I agree. That's a super nice moment. And it's totally super endearing because it can be easy to think of him as like jaded or calculating and like money focused guy, but and he does care about the money part of it a lot, but he cares a ton about the story too, and like yeah, we don't like all the decisions he made, but like that is what is so endearing about the movie in general to me is even the stuff I dislike, it is it is his like vision. This is
Yeah.
not like some corporate like boardroom written movie where there's no risks or creativity or like oh producer noted to death or whatever, like this is his vision like pretty much like, and of course it's a collaborative process and everything is, but like I don't know, it feels like well it's like the biggest budget independent movie of all time, I think. um because yeah, it was distributed by 20th Century Fox, but it was fully produced in-house by Lucasfilm, and he yeah did it all himself.
Yeah, what was the budget on this one? I remember what Jake guesses. He's like 50,000, and they're all like, "Oh
Oh,
no,
you
no!"
stupid jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 125 million or something like that.
Wow. And yeah, to your point, definitely George Lucas taking risks for what he himself finds amusing. I think this documentary opens with him being like, "Jar Jar is key. Jar
Yep.
Jar Binks is key to this film."
If I can get him to work, the whole thing works.
Yeah. Hey,
He
you.
also goes a lot in this one. It's like poetry. It repeats itself.
Yeah, he's like, you'll notice. I cringe a little when he said this to the crew, where he was like, they're like kind of like rhyming stanzas between these two films. Not that like they can't be like that, but just they're not.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way he was like saying it was, I don't know, kind of pretentious and annoying. But
I mean, I really like that in theory,
yeah,
that like these would be some kind of past reflection, and it's like, oh, well, just like history, it goes in cycles, it repeats itself. No matter what era of time we're in, we have the same archetypes of people and blah, 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 which is really cool. And I mean, I think something that I don't know. The best parts of House of the Dragon maybe does really well, showing you like these less nuanced, more grandiose versions of like types of characters that we already know from Game of Thrones or whatever. But anyway, I mean that's something I really quite like about the prequels too. Is like it doesn't quite nail it, but man, like it's like it is this like melodramatic, like larger than life type of thing going on where everybody's a little cold and emotionless in it. It feels like a history lesson.
hey, well, I can appreciate that, but my mind just goes back to Tales of the Jedi and that comic, and me being like, man, if that was like what they chose to do as a prequel adaptation, that would have been phenomenal. I would have loved to have seen that
Yeah.
as these stories, and I think people would love them too if they like, because I mean, I'm sure some Star Wars fans are fairly familiar with those stories, but
Yeah.
I probably your average, well, definitely your average Star Wars fan who just watches the movies has no concept of who those characters or those stories are, and I thought they were really compelling. They were so good.
Yeah, you're totally right. And those have a nice little element of connecting to the original movies with themes and arcs that characters take with like slight tweaks on them and everything to make them still unique for the story, but still
Mm.
like, oh yeah, we've seen this before. Like, you think you're gonna be able to learn a little bit about the dark side without falling to it all the way? I don't think so.
Dude, if we get enough Star Wars fan money coming in, I
Hmm.
say we put it towards a fan film, Star Wars Sunrider, and It Falls No Me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Master Thawne is fully practical, a giant
Oh,
puppet, like
dude,
Jabba the Hutt
come on,
style.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm serious. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Go to Kickstarter.com/Beggars Canyon Boys.
Slash Sunrider story.
Yeah.
Know me. We could call it Know Me, a Sunrider story.
Yeah. Wow. Just like, that's a play on the Solo title? What is it?
Solo, a Star Wars story.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, is it Solo, a Han Solo story?
Oh, that would be terrible. Get my water real quick.
He just left.
I'm right here. We can still talk.
He gave up on the podcast.
I'm going to bed. I'm
going to see every planet.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Eres un ángel. That's Are You an Angel in Spanish. Eres un ángel.
Oh, wow.
No. Eres un ángel?
I made you this to remember me by... No.
What did he make her?
The necklace.
What was the necklace? I don't remember
this. It's just this little necklace that he gives her when they're on the ship. Like? It looks like... It's like a square with the edges bitten out of it. Like if you took a square cookie and you went on all four sides, and then it has some like pattern in the middle.
Okay, that was really good imagery about it. Like I know what it looks like now.
It's the best way I could think to describe it.
It was genuinely good. Are we ready for your segment, the surprise segment?
I've been
anticipating it this whole time.
Anything else about the documentary?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to get off it. So I wasn't sure what it was, so maybe it tied it or not. But maybe I'm on the documentary. I don't know.
No, it's it would be getting a little off topic from the documentary. So,
I thought it was just a quick little thing. It was interesting when they were doing the cutting of Ewan's hair, and they were talking about how the rat tail. George, another moment where George is like, we want to make it weird, but not too weird, which like kind of on the same beat of like not trying to go too big and too overboard of things. So maybe he was really like thinking about that at the time.
Yeah, but it is kind of weird, the rat tail.
Yeah, but what was cool, I thought, is that they were like, yeah, it's supposed to signify where you are in the stages of Jedi training, right? But that was that mentioned in the movie? Did I miss that?
No, they don't say that out loud in the movie, but...
That's a cool detail, though. I like that.
Yeah.
Like, it made them seem a little cooler to me for how silly a rat tail looks.
Yeah, and I mean, it is totally colored with my, like, nostalgia and thinking Obi-Wan was so cool when I was a little kid, but, like, I think he pulls it off.
Wow.
I mean,
hey, if you think that you do, but I gotta say, I felt sad for Ewan when they cut his beautiful long hair.
Yeah.
And like to me, maybe I'm projecting, he looked sad looking in the mirror at the short hair. Like, it also made him look much older than he looked with the long hair.
Yeah, that's true. And he's young in this one too. He's like 21 or something. But hey, hair grows back. You know?
And I'm sure he'd shave it all to be in Star Wars.
Of course. I mean, I would shave every hair on my body to be in Star Wars.
Oh, you could be like a weird, scary little alien.
Yeah.
Hairless.
Just a hairless. I could be like crawling around naked in some hive of scum and villainy.
Oh yeah, crawling around with like a little drink in your
I think that is what I would get if I was cast in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Just a little one line. Dude,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be.
I would feel less pressure getting a line like that than like a line being like, "You have to go to Coruscant. That's where the enemies are stationed." You know?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I'd be like, fuck.
I'm like, yeah. Any I don't know, so many of these lines in Phantom Menace would be really hard to deliver. And he's like, I heard Master Yoda mention midichlorians. I was wondering, what are midichlorians?
God, yeah, no, man, I didn't even think about that. I mean, I know we talked about the moment where he has trouble pronouncing Coruscant, but like for Jake, there's a huge vocabulary to Star Wars that are like words that are not your everyday word, you know?
Well, and he even has to learn a few full sentences in the Huttese when he's like, Chesko Sabulba, Wamba, or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
it's
true,
like,
yeah.
Damn, like, that's tough.
Good for him.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a fan.
I think he does a good job. Like,
I agree. I said it immediately. Yeah. Man. I was like, I like that kid.
Yeah, I know. I remember. But And he looks so cool with his helmet and goggles on in the pod race,
That'd be a
too.
good Halloween costume for a kid.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
It would be. I've kind of outgrown my ability to dress up as a 9-year-old Anakin, but
Wow. Oh, were you very blonde as a kid, or like that's still this type of
it was
haircut?
definitely a lot lighter when I was a
Okay,
kid,
yeah,
yeah.
could've
And I
been.
had the bowl cut going on,
Oh,
too.
really?
Hmm.
Perfect picture of Anakin, man.
I should have. Instead, I was Darth Vader in 2nd grade for Halloween.
That's
So
cool
I was
too.
kind of Anakin.
Yeah, you were. I want to do a rat tail Ewan costume. I think that'd be really
sick.
cool.
You could pull that off for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone in the Star Wars universe who has this facial hair combo? Sometimes I'm like, I never cosplay, but I'm like, if I could cosplay, what characters would I be? And I never want to alter my facial hair, and I feel like there's not many I can choose.
Well, not really a spoiler, but I guess we'll keep watching the prequels. I would say there's in the third one.
Would I want to cosplay as him? Do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's cool. I think. I mean, I would want to cosplay as them. So yeah.
Okay. Do you think I know this character already?
Yeah, you do for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Wow.
It's not even a spoiler. It's just someone's hairstyle choice in that movie, but it can be fun to see that as a surprise and be like, "Hey, wow, that looks cool."
Okay, interesting. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. The only other, not really much to say about this, but the things that stood out to me in the documentary, there is a pretty awesome part going over the sound design with Ben Burt, like specifically the pod race sequence and everything. Them really working hard to get that sequence to be like exactly what they want, and the sound of it really awesome. And then also on the same page as the sound, the whole part about John Williams is not much analysis on it other than it's just so awesome to watch and to hear him talk about like his influences or his thought process, and then to watch like the choir hit the first big notes of Duel of the Fates and everything. It's
Yeah,
like,
and George was so excited too. He was like, "You don't even know, but this is perfect for the third film too. We can do a little reprisal of it." Like, man, again, like I feel so endeared towards George Lucas when I see him get like that passionate about like these little things of it, and I'm like, all right, yeah. If things don't work, like I'm still like I'm pro George Lucas trying this out because of like your attitude towards it. Like you're not half-assing it at all, you know?
No. Well,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, you're right. He's not. I would say there are a few decisions made based on how difficult it was to do all the practical effects in the original ones, and like, oh well, it's a lot less work for me, George Lucas, to have these all be animated, where I just kind of sit back and supervise while I watch people work on the computer. Again, I don't even mean to say that to be like, you're lazy, George Lucas, because he's obviously not. He works extremely hard on this stuff. And I could even understand, I mean, the other thing that I wrote down, it got up to 135 degrees in Tunisia when they're filming on Tatooine. Their whole set was like destroyed by a storm at some point.
Oh my God. Yeah, we didn't that. That would have been all. I felt so bad for them.
Yeah, and I mean, he had so many issues in the first trilogy with that kind of stuff happening, and then it would be like, my God, like, I'm older now, I don't have, like, that young filmmaker energy of, like, fuck it, like, I'll stand outside in 200 degrees for 10 hours, and, like, it's not like that's totally gone. He still has that passion and that drive, but you can understand why you would be like, no, like I'm not going through that again. Like, let's just do it on the computer. Which is a bummer for the result of the movie, but I get why.
He also was excited. Like it's clear they're excited about the technology.
Yes.
Too. There's even the one guy when that incident with the storm does happen. Like as they're going to look at the wreckage of it, he's trying to like bring everyone back up, and he's like, well, this is why it's great we have the digital technology now.
Yeah. Also, he keeps calling them the Goongas, the Gungans. He keeps saying Goongas
The
in the
Goongas.
documentaries.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty cool when he brings Steven Spielberg on the set too. He's like, the final battle will be like War and Peace. Literally, it's gonna be like War and Peace.
Dude, I didn't even realize that was Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, bro.
Oh
When
my
he's showing
god.
him the battle droid and like all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know what it looked like.
His good friend and companion, who originally he tried to get him, Ron Howard, and Robert Zemeckis to direct the movie.
All to do the one movie or the three?
No.
Or the three.
Not like all three of them to do it. He like went to all three of
one
them
by one.
separately to see if they wanted to, and all of them were like, "No, like this, you have to do this. Like it's not our thing. We won't do it right."
Interesting.
But then Ron Howard would go on to make Solo, a Star Wars story. So
Seen it.
Zemeckis, hack. That's my opinion about that guy.
Mm.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure he's got talent. He's got talent. I don't know. Do you like Back to the Future?
It's all right. I'm not in love with it, but they're fun movies.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the third one the best. Not
Really?
not a popular opinion. But
No.
I just like that it's. I mean, to me, they're all just like mildly entertaining. So I
Right.
don't see them as like. I don't put them on a pedestal or anything. So I'm just like, oh, cowboy one. That's silly and fun.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. People like love the second one for some reason. I find that to be the worst one.
I agree with you,
overall.
actually. Yeah. And the least memorable.
Yeah. Except for, I will say, that concept of getting a sports almanac from the future and then being able to go back in time and bet on sports correctly and become a millionaire from it is, like, ever since I saw that movie when I was a little kid, like, that idea has just taken root in my brain as like, oh my god, what if?
Yeah. Hoping one will fall to the world somehow.
Mm-hmm.
A future sports almanac.
Never gonna happen, but
Well.
oh well.
Never say never, man.
Maybe I'll get my own DeLorean.
Yeah. When's your birthday this year?
Same as last year.
Okay. All right.
May 22nd.
Okay. Ooh, may the 22nd be with you.
Yes, exactly.
Do people say that to you on your birthday?
Yeah, all the time.
Historically? Okay. What's our May 4th episode? The May 4th
That'll
special?
be right after we see Revenge of the Sith, so maybe we could do a May 4th special marathon playthrough of Lego Star Wars.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell
yeah.
That's my main thing I want to do right after we finish the
Play Lego
prequels is
Star
to play
Wars.
Lego Star Wars.
Okay,
together.
like I said, I've not played a Lego game, and I heard they're pretty spectacular. And I heard Star Wars Lego is kind of what made them start to take more seriously, or not?
Yeah, it's the first one in
Okay.
that like format. Yeah, but then they would go on to do Indiana Jones, Batman, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean,
Wow.
Marvel.
Marvel, yeah. Is there DC? Lego DC?
Yeah, they got Batman.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I saw the Will Arnett movie, too.
They do Batman, then they do like Batman 2, and then, but in Lego Batman 2, they introduce like, now it's kind of like a Justice League thing. And then,
Okay.
yeah. Anywho.
Well,
It's really fun though, and also just super nostalgic, and also locks in like the characters and the environments of the prequels in a fun way.
can we be whoever we want to be from the prequels or original films? Basically, like the main characters?
The first game is just the prequels,
Okay.
and then they made a second game that's the originals, and then they made a third one that's just combining the two games essentially.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, but yes, you can be pretty much whoever you want to be. Not at first. You got to be like the characters in the scenes in like the first time you play through, and then you unlock like all the other characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look forward to that 24-hour stream for charity. We'll be doing that once May 4th arrives.
That's right. All right. Shall we go to my epic segment?
Yeah. Let's
All
see
right.
what this is.
All right. Close your eyes for 1 second. Here we go. So, the epic segment that I thought of. Would you Get a drink with them. That's what we call it. Would you
Okay.
get a drink with them?
Okay.
Phantom Menace edition. I've got a slideshow of some characters, some more background characters from the Phantom Menace, and I want to know your thoughts about them, and if you feel like you'd want to hang out with them, and bonus points if you know any of these characters' names.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'll give you a kiss on the lips.
Wow.
So for the listeners, for the non-visual people, you can describe it if you want, but I will just say we've got two pictures of this guy. On the right picture, there's two people. The guy on the right is Newt Gunray. He's the main Nemoidian that we deal with in the movie. He's got a lot of the lines.
Okay, so you've given away that we're dealing with Nemoidians.
Yes, Nemoidians.
Right.
So people, listening, you might know what they look like. Little fish guys.
Yeah, with cool eyes. The eyes are really cool.
Mm-hmm. The horizontal black squiggly line going across the eye.
It's almost like a heart monitor.
Yeah, very cool. So Newt Gunray, you see him there. That's not who we're talking about. We're talking about his companion here.
Yeah.
Name is not said in the movie, so I would
okay.
probably guess that you don't know the name.
So I do get a kiss for this one, though, by default.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, would you want to get a drink with this guy?
Based on my recollection of his role in the movie, like these two are they're mostly just like I would say not chill and like stressed.
Yeah.
So no, I'd say I would not get a drink with him. I don't think he'd be a fun drinking companion. Plus, no. Okay, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, I think that's a good point. This guy especially is very nervous and on edge the whole time. Any wild shot in the dark guess at what his name might be?
What's the other guy's name again?
Newt Gunray.
Newt Gunray. Maybe like Harvon Nurka.
Yeah.
Harvon Nurka.
Okay, come here. No, this is Rune Hako.
Oh, I got an H.
Yeah. And honestly, like,
I thought you said he didn't have a name.
Well, he has a name. They just don't say it out loud in the movie.
Oh, okay. Rune Hako.
We should have not made this bargain. That's a quote of his to Viceroy Newt Gunray.
Do it as like an impression of him, though.
I'll pass on that one, but yeah, he's constantly nervous. Like, essentially, if Newt Gunray is nervous and being like, "Oh no, now there are two of them. Now I'm scared of the Jedi. I'm scared of working with Palpatine." This guy's like even more scared of all that.
Yeah,
so that's who he is.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
so
no drink.
That's number one. All right. Now, for our second character, we've got this lovely lady.
Oh, man, I think I know the name, too. Oh.
I did just say it 2 days ago to you.
Does it start with an S?
Her species starts with an S.
Oh.
So do you remember...
Is it Sebulba?
No, it's not. Sebulba is the... rival pod racer.
Oh, shoot. Oh, man. All these names, man.
But that's a good... you remember Sebulba, the word. So he's a Doug. He's the camel... you remember what he looks like?
Yeah.
The little brown guy.
Yeah, he's the one who they were like, he's the worst in the universe or something, right? Yeah.
Sleemo.
At least all the pod racers.
Sleemo.
Oh, okay.
It's like, it means slime ball, I think. So you remember the scene though where Jar Jar steals
for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess he was hungry, but like
a Gorg. That's what these are. These are Gorgs. So this lady is a Gorg monger. That's her job.
Wow.
So you know her demeanor. You know what she looks like. Would you want to hang out with her? Get a beer?
I would absolutely get a beer with this Gorg monger. I want to learn more about the occupation of gorgmonging and what it takes to, presumably, she raises these gorgs and
Yeah,
slaughters these gorgs.
maybe so. Yeah,
Uh,
a monger. I think you're right. That title would lead me to believe it's a whole process. She's not
Yeah.
just selling them.
Plus, if we get a little hungry as we're enjoying our libations,
Yeah, you
I think
got a snack.
yeah. Plus, I don't know. To me, there's something that says home about this character. you
Yeah.
know?
I feel like she really fits in with the type of aliens we see in the original Star Wars movies, and is a nice, like, ugly. Sorry, no offense.
No, it's okay. She looks like a Goosebumps character, but it's awesome.
Yeah, like would belong on Tatooine, this grimy world.
Yeah. Look at those Gorgon. What are the Gorgons? What are they?
Just gorgs.
Gorgs. Look at those Gorgs.
Yeah,
Those look tasty,
meaty.
dude.
That one looks like a big chicken. The red one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, give me a little drink and a Gorg, dude.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
I agree. All right. Any guesses on what her name is?
Oh man, what does it start with?
A G.
Grandma Gorg.
It's Gra Gra.
Oh, I feel like that was a little close, actually.
Close, yeah. First three letters, Grandma.
I almost said Granny, and I feel like that would have been very close to it.
That's very close, yeah. So this is Gra Gra. Gra Gra was a Swoke female gorgmonger that worked in the marketplace of Mos Espa. And of course, she caught Jar Jar Binks when he tried to snatch a gorg from her stand without paying.
Oh, we were talking about this the other day. Because Jackson said he quoted it. He did this quote.
Yeah, Uwama Wonka ka goba whoopie whoopie.
And a whoopie whoopie stand. I was surprised you knew that one of the currencies on Tatooine
Yeah,
was whoopie whoopie.
We talked about whoopie whoopies for a little too long, honestly.
Which I learned is not the only currency on Tatooine also. So.
Well, I'm just assuming that because, when Qui-Gon is trying to buy the parts from Watto, and he's like, I have this many Republic credits. And then Watto's like, Republic credits are no good here. Like, that doesn't work. So it's probably like a pretty complicated and non-regulated currency system going on.
How do I convert my whoopie whoopies to Republic credits?
You got to go to one of those...
like a whoopie whoopie ATM?
ATM, yeah. I don't know, yeah. I guess Tatooine's not a Republic-controlled planet, I guess, yeah. Because, Padme says, like, oh, slavery's been outlawed in all the Republic worlds, and then they're like, hey, Republic laws don't extend to the Outer Rim. Like,
one day, though, mark my words, Tatooine will become controlled by the Republic.
Well, we have seen it when the Empire's in charge.
Oh, well, mark my words, there'll be an independent state that eradicates slavery.
Okay, all right.
Also, is the name of the alien race Swokes?
Yeah.
Great name.
Yeah. I love her smile. I want that toy.
The axe is a nice touch.
Yeah. Chopping up some gorgs.
Cool character design.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, ready for the next one?
I am. Trying to think who it could be.
I think this is the pod racer page. Yep. Okay, there we go. That's our first pod racer.
Oh man, this person was in the movie?
Yeah. Maybe you remember he had some engine trouble at the starting line of the pod race, and he had the crew of pit droids trying to work on it, and then when he finally got him going, all four kind of like shot off and went into the crowd.
Yeah, I do remember that.
He's that guy.
Did he say anything in this movie though?
Not in English.
Okay.
And maybe not even in another language. If anything, he just goes like, oh.
Wow, man. I'm just trying to think about realistically meeting this creature
in
person.
Are you operating under the assumption of like you've never seen an alien before and like everything else up until now has been your normal Earth life, and then you just see this guy on the street?
He's really like unsettling.
Yeah.
And then if I like hyper realistic it, and I'm like sitting across from that and I can see its pores, that terrifies, disgusts, and
Kind of looks like the Grinch in the face there, the Jim Carrey Grinch.
Yeah, he does actually.
Or one of the Who's actually. Maybe I'm thinking like the mayor of Whoville guy.
Well, the Grinch aspect that it reminds me of is like the smiles that Jim Carrey can do with it, where his face is like bending upwards like that. He also reminds me of the little. Funny, we were just talking about this because Jackson's a huge fan, but he reminds me of the little alien guys from Toy Story.
Oh, yeah. Well, they do have like the little ears going on them.
Yeah. Also, I hate what he's wearing, like outfit wise.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I know it's
deep V-neck cut.
I don't mean to be like this, but it's a very vaginal design. I have to say, not suggestive at all. It's not arousing any thoughts from me. But and now that I'm kind of analyzing, maybe we could be gracious and say it's like a floral design, right? It's very plant-like.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
And he rounds it off with the fingerless gloves.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, he's a pod racer, bro. I mean,
sure, you gotta have your fingerless gloves and knee pads for that. That makes sense.
Any guesses on this guy's name?
Torbo.
Hey, none of your guesses are bad. I will be so surprised if you got any of them right, but like they might as well be called what you're saying too. This is Ben Quadinaros.
Ah, man. It's so hard to tell when Star Wars is going to use like a one-word name.
Yeah.
Like, actually give him like a surname.
His name's Ben.
Well, okay, yeah. Nice to meet you, Ben.
Dude, and honestly, I'm just remembering this right now. There is a book that implies that Obi-Wan was inspired to take the nickname Ben from Ben Quadinaros.
Really?
Yes, for real. I mean, that's not a George Lucas idea, but that's in a book.
That's wild.
Yeah, I just remembered that. I think that's in the book Tatooine Ghost.
So he meets this guy?
Well, I'm not in the book itself. Okay, apologies if I'm spouting misinformation, but my memory is there's this book Tatooine Ghost where Leia and Han have their honeymoon on Tatooine. They get into a whole thing where they meet the adult version of Kitster. You remember Kitster, Anakin's friend, who's like, maybe you'll finish the race this time.
Oh, yes, yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they run into Ben Quadinaros and another pod racer, and they kind of talk about like, oh yeah, Obi-Wan. Like, yeah.
Okay, well, he does gain 1 point for meeting Obi-Wan because then my degrees of separation from Obi-Wan would be less, but that's probably the case for a few of these characters anyway.
True. So no, you
no.
don't want to drink with him.
Yeah,
okay,
no.
Here's our next pod racer, a Gran.
And now I remember this guy a lot because in the movie I really liked his design.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he looked like a Chupacabra.
Chupacabra. Yeah, you're right. Very goat-like.
A Chewbacca Cabra, if you will.
Has
anyone done that art on a shirt? Chewbacca Cabra? Can we get that made?
Wow. I bet you if you Google it, you'd see at least like a DeviantArt thing about
Probably,
that. But a Gran from Malastare.
Now,
and this is actually my profile picture on my Beggars Canyon Boys TikTok page.
Really?
Yeah.
You like this guy a lot.
I like the design.
Me too. Now, would I get a drink with this character? You know what my hang up is?
Yeah.
The social anxiety in me, you know what I think would throw me off? I think I could make it work. I could fake it till I make it with any of these guys so far. But you know what would throw me off with this guy? The 3 eyes. I don't know if I think that would really, we don't think about this often because we deal with 2 eyes, so we know where to look. But if there's 3, I'd be thrown off a little bit.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, you'd be worried, like, where's he looking? And presumably he can have these all go independently, too, since they're on stalks here.
Wow, how do you think that factors into the pod racing? Do you think it's a benefit or a...
I think it's a benefit. A cool thing about the design of the pod racers, I don't know what it is in Ben Quadinaros' case, maybe his antenna, but all of the aliens were designed in mind with some sort of biological aspect that would give them an advantage in pod racing as compared to a human.
Like Ben Quadinaros is the little 3 antennas.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's it for him because what else is going on for him? But yeah, so maybe his is his 3 eyes. It gives him good peripheral vision of his competitors or something like that.
Well, I will say I would get a drink with him because I think the fit kind of goes hard. He looks like he's armored up.
Oh, he looks fucking cool.
Yeah. And I shouldn't be afraid of those who are different just because he has three eyes. I think we can still have a good conversation. I'm sure there's a lot of like-minded territory that we can discuss.
Yeah, well, that's very open-minded of you. But I do understand being a little intimidated at first, at least. I mean,
Of Ben, I would be more so, I think. That's what I'm, like I think I need to be lighter on him than I am Ben. Name, though. Have you said the name of this guy yet?
No. Any guesses?
Where is he from again?
Malastair.
Malastair?
Gran. His species is Gran.
He's Entalvio Bra.
This is Mahonic.
Dang it. Okay. See? One word. Man, I should have. All right.
All right. Last pod racer. Ready for it?
Yeah. This was in the movie?
Yes. Definitely in a extended cut of the pod race.
I feel like I'm looking at abstract art almost.
Yeah. He's in the background. Never a close-up shot of him in the movie, but he's there. He's one of the pod racers.
Why am I like Rorschach vibe getting Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Oh, true, because they do have like the part where their features kind of go all crazy.
Is it like this part that's doing that to my mind? Is that like is there a poster face where they look like that or something?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I see what you're saying. It looks very Dr. Seuss to me.
That's a wild design. I really like it, actually. It's a cool design.
It is cool. I think the green, like fur collar is what makes me think of like Dr. Seuss designs.
Yeah.
This guy's a Devlik. That's the species.
You little Devlik, you.
Mm-hmm. He looks a little devilish.
Yeah. And he's a pod racer?
He is. By the way, all these pod racers are total pieces of shit, too. If you go into their backstories, like, almost all of them are either contract killers or have hired other people to kill other pod racers. They all, not all, but a lot of them are big time like drinkers and gamblers. Not like that necessarily makes you a bad person, but they just get up to some nefarious stuff. And there's multiple stories about how they fall in love with. Sebulba's got his two Twi'lek masseuses. And there's like all these things about how like, oh, one of them's in love with one of these masseuses and they're going to try and like run away with them. But Sebulba finds out, so he puts a contract to like kill one of them or like all this. So
God,
these are bad guys.
Also, dude, Twi'leks in the Star Wars universe just kind of get used as like sexualized slaves, like over and over again.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Unfortunate. Cool, because it's such a cool character design too. Where I'm like, man, this one really stands out in the Star Wars universe, and every time we see them, they're usually just being like subjugated. It's like,
You're right, and even Bib Fortuna, who is our the main male Twi'lek we've gotten, he's just a super disrespected lackey of Jabba the Hutt who seems to be in a non-consensual partnership there.
Yeah, and he's tried to leave. Also, shout out to Tato Nita. It's been a while.
Most badass Twi'lek.
Been a while.
Hey, we get more Twi'lek content, and it gets a little more nuanced.
Okay.
Not necessarily in the movies, but in some other stuff.
All right.
But you're totally right, though. That's not to disparage you. It is.
I know.
It is strange to have a species, especially all the females we've seen of this species, have been very sexualized, and not only sexualized and bees a slave.
Yeah,
so
I'm at this point. I'm like, okay, is there a Star Wars story at some point? Not that they should do this, but it's like you almost expect it because it's like now part of. It's like woven to the narrative. It's like, man, was that planet like captured and like they were all enslaved or something? Because every Twi'lek,
that is like part of the lore.
Oh, okay.
Not like everyone, but like there's bad like slave trade going on Rhodia, the planet that they're from.
Yeah,
which, man, feels like dirty and weird territory to even talk about.
That's what I
coming out
say.
of my mouth, but That's what it is in the story. I'm not saying I think that's like really cool or anything like that. But that's what it is.
Okay.
Anyway, we've got this guy, a Devlik pod racer.
What do you think he sounds like? Yes, I'd get a drink with him.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay. Any guesses on his name?
Yeah.
It's 2 words. I'll give you that.
Cyrus Tarsanak.
Damn, you are good at coming up with these. Like, they're not what they're called, but like these are all believable Star Wars names. Like, man, you thought of a good one too with Dietrich Wardwin, and I feel like you'd be good at making original characters.
Hey, Lucasfilms, hit me up.
Hey, for real. This is Wan Sandage.
I really like that name actually.
It's a cool one.
Sandage.
Mr. Sandage.
Another drink for me and my friend Wham.
Maybe it's Juan. I don't know, but
One more drink for the 2 of us.
Dude, you're good at thinking of names and hilarious jokes. But I guess it probably could be Wan or Juan because they kind of interchange Han and Han, and some characters say Han and some say Han in the movies too. So, all right. Well, let's Wan Sandage, Han Solo. I wonder if there was any inspiration there. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Oh yeah, Ben Quadneros is a Toong from the planet Tund.
Oh.
Mahonic is a Gran.
I was wondering why Toong just showed up on the screen.
Yeah, I forgot I did this. And then he's a Devlik. Yeah. Okay. Next guy. You got to remember that. Oh, well, his name is spoiled on the box of the toy. But Boss Nass. Yeah, you know this guy. We get a little more of his personality than we have of the previous characters.
But do I like this guy? Do I want to grab a drink?
Do you like him? That's a good question.
He seems a little like, I feel like he'd want a favor out of me, you know? Seems like that type, but
yeah.
I think if no, I don't think I want to get a drink with him.
No. He's a politician, you know?
Yeah.
He's probably corrupt.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I have nothing to offer him, I feel like he's not even interested in me. Like, he's I don't know why he's getting that drink with me.
I mean, the only time he's happy in the movie is when Padme, like, kneels before him and is like, we need your help. And he gets, like, a big head about how, like, oh, you don't think you're better than us? I always thought the humans thought they were better than us. A potentially interesting relation or dynamic to explore between, like, 2 different species coexisting on a planet that have their own separate but, symbiotic societies going on, which they touch on. Obi-Wan goes like, what happens to the Naboo will affect you guys. You must realize this. So that, that idea is thrown out there, but never really done interesting stuff. And, he's trying to create some kind of narrative synergy between that and then even his themes of like, oh, the midichlorians being this symbiotic life form in your body. Oh, the relationship between the political side of the Republic and the Jedi, the spiritual side of and I don't know, it doesn't mesh like it needs to.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When you lay it out there, it's almost like you have the right pieces to the puzzle, but you start putting it together, and it's like that's not the picture that you were making.
It's not, but I think that was the goal.
Yeah. Well.
Not to put the goal into George Lucas's mouth. I don't know. I've never spent time in his head, but
could have been a nice goal. And like we've said, parts of it can work, but
so no drink with the boss.
No drink, but again, I like his fit too. I think it's pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of something I'd seen in Power Rangers, but I do like it.
Okay, I see that for sure. The helmet and the shoulder pads are very Power Rangers-y. Also, another comment about him getting a drink. We see him shake his head, and spit flies everywhere. So
true. I wasn't even thinking about that.
High chance that your food or your drink would get some Boss Nass.
Not my Gorg.
Yeah, I know. You're gonna get spit all over your Gorg, bro.
Man, my Gorg on a stick.
That's Boss Nass. Used to know thinking you said greater than the Gungans. Me so like this. Maybe we should being friends.
Nice.
That's his big quote. Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's fun to do.
Okay, here's our next character.
Whoa, the artwork is crazy on the left.
Yeah. Recognize this guy at all?
No.
Does this character clue you into what he is, though?
Yeah, yes.
Picture,
like,
I mean?
I know he's on that Jedi Council.
Yes.
But I don't remember seeing him in the movie. He's got a cool design.
He does have a cool design, and he is not featured very heavily at all in the movie. He is in some shots, the full shots of the Jedi Council, but never gets a close-up or anything like that.
Yeah, I know you don't mind this at all, truly, probably, but, like, I'm sorry that I could not. I'm so bad at remembering, like, characters and their names. And,
I mean...
Because there's so many in this movie, though.
And most of the... pretty much all of these that I'm doing here, with the exception of Boss Nass, their names are not said in the movie at all. And this guy is no exception to that.
Just takes me some time with Star Wars to like actually pick up on, and we just started with the Phantom Menace, so I just feel the need to say again, like, sorry, give me time to like lock them in.
No, don't be
like,
sorry. There's literally 50 new characters in the Phantom Menace.
I just got Qui-Gon in my head. Like last week I could not remember that for the love of me. I don't know why.
And that's when they actually do say in the movie. And he's like a main character, so that is understandable. But he's a new person, so like him, Padme. These are people that make sense for you to remember.
I remember Sebulba.
Hey, but even him, they say that in the movie.
Yeah,
he's featured. This guy, not so much. But man, he's cool. He's a big snake guy. With a.
I didn't even realize he's I thought that was something he's sitting on. Is that also his tail there, or is that supposed to be a chair?
That, I think, is part of the chair, but this is his whole lower half below the torso. He's kind of like a mermaid, but for a serpent.
Wow. I gotta say, he's really cool looking. A little scary with that, like, how tiny his actual face is.
Yeah.
But, man, something about I feel like you don't see Jedis that look uncool very often. Like, usually the Jedi designs are peak.
And just thinking about, like, he's on the council. That must mean, like, he's very strong in the Force and a powerful, wise Jedi. That alone, like, brings him some legitimacy to me.
Dude, you think I'm gonna not get a drink with a Jedi?
I figure you probably would.
I'm having a drink with any Jedi.
Hell yeah.
Dude, they can teach me about my Force-latent abilities.
Exactly. You're right.
This dude looks like he doesn't even need a battle meditate. He looks like he can take down the entire army by himself.
He is pretty lightsaber skilled, according to some comic books and stuff.
Let's say you know about him?
A little bit.
Right.
Definitely someone I don't know that much about. But yeah, I've seen him fight in a comic. A 2-word name. Any guesses on that? Starts with an O. I'll give you that. His first name starts with an O.
Okan Gurvan.
Hey, that's a cool name.
Close at all?
Apo Rancisis.
Ooh, Apo.
The Thispician.
Thispasian. Sorry to. You have to just, if you're listening, you just have to hear us try to read this. But
yeah. Oh yeah, we forgot to describe him we kind of described him, mermaid, but with a snake.
I guess the big aspect we didn't describe is like his head is mostly, well, even past what his head would be, he's mostly hair.
Yeah,
you look at him and he's mostly white hair.
Huge beard, like really puffy top knot, and
his eyebrows are a mustache, basically.
Yes. His eyebrows are a second mustache on top of his already big mustache. The only part that's not hair is his eyes and his mouth. Yeah, he's cool.
And he's a thespian? That's what you said?
Yeah, he's an artist. He's Shakespearean or classically trained in Shakespeare. He did a few rounds at the Globe Theater with who are some British actors that were on
David Tennant.
Yeah. David Tennant. He was in King Lear with David Tennant.
Nice.
That's all for my slideshow.
Well, that was cool. That was a good segment.
Yeah, so those are some characters that maybe
Smash.
Yeah, would you smash or pass those characters? Okay. The rest of the time, I guess I would like to quickly talk about like some merchandise from the Phantom Menace because this at the time was the most highly merchandised movie of all time, and a lot of people say that it still probably is. That's a hard metric to like exactly calculate, I feel like,
Yeah.
but this was massive marketing, tons of toys and other junk. Did you do any looking into any of that kind of stuff?
Um, no, I can't remember. Did we talk on this on the podcast about this? Isn't about like watching behind this interviews after the movies and things like that, right? This is just merchandise.
Yeah, but I mean, we can talk about that too. I guess, yeah, just
We talked about that already though. Was it just off podcast we did that,
think we
or did we do it?
honestly, I can't remember. So
Yeah, so I don't want to repeat if we.
yeah,
But okay, so no, sorry, no.
No,
When it comes to merchandise, no.
that's okay. I was just curious if you
Just what you
had
sent
looked
me.
at anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sent you the dancing Jar Jar toy. Plays the Cantina Band song, and he does a scary dance. Yeah, Jar Jar Binks, incredibly heavily merchandised character. It's almost like he's in the movie to be a toy rather than an actual character.
He's the key.
Yeah, if I can get him to work, then this whole thing will work.
Honestly, was there like a McDonald's Happy Meal campaign that went on with Star Wars? I feel like that had to have been a thing, and like seems like such a big moneymaker or like good collaboration for Star Wars that they would have done that.
Yeah, they did have Happy Meal toys. But in addition to that, McDonald's toys, the big thing was this 3-restaurant toy deal between Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, and KFC, where those each represented the 3 planets that we go to in the movie. Taco Bell is Tatooine.
What?
Pizza Hut, I forget. Between KFC and Pizza Hut, I forget which is which, but one of them's Coruscant and one of them's Naboo. And
Pizza Hut, Naboo.
that was going to be my guess as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But in order to like collect all the stuff, you'd have to go to like the different planets and
Wow.
whatever.
Hey, that's cool. I like that. I wish they would do things like that more often.
Yeah. I
Well-
mean, it gets you excited.
Yeah, Pizza Hut also used to do, and sorry, it's slightly off topic, but
No.
it's connected. Pizza Hut used to do campaigns with X-Men all the time too. I have
really?
like a couple of like mini comics that are like Pizza Hut exclusive X-Men comics.
Wow, that's
and
cool.
there's a VHS episode even I think like that came out for Pizza Hut exclusively. So I'm just sad they don't still do cool things like that.
I know, like that. I don't know. It is, a little bit of capitalist corporate yuckiness, but they're at least like trying to be creative with it and everything, and like especially as a kid, that kind of stuff gets you excited.
Yeah.
And like feels like the movie is now bigger than just the movie, and it's seeping into the real world and everything. There was a line of super high quality action figures for this movie as well. Hasbro, they're no longer working with Kenner Toys anymore. A new deal with Hasbro. They made
Big money.
Yeah, they made deals with tons of companies for this though, and a big one, another really big one. This is the beginning of Legos for Star Wars as well.
Oh, okay, wow. Yeah, that's got to be crazy.
1999 was the first wave of Lego sets for
Do we
Star
know what the
Wars.
first set was?
There were a few that came out at the same time, but let's look it up real quick.
I'm trying to think what would make a good set from that movie. I mean, there's obviously like the ships, maybe the one that Anakin is flying at the end.
So we've got some original trilogy sets. We've got the X-Wing, we've got Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. Then we've got a lot from the Phantom Menace. Lightsaber duel. This is Darth Maul on the speeder and Qui-Gon when they fight before getting on the ship.
Yeah, when he's like duck or jump to Anakin. Is it duck or jump?
Duck. Yeah. Okay. Then the droid fighter, that's the Vulture droid. Naboo Swamp, Anakin's Pod Racer, Naboo Fighter, Sith Infiltrator.
Now, I assume most of these are out of print, but have any of them been like re-released and you've gotten? Do you have any of these?
I don't have any of these, but I do have like the newer versions of
The moments.
the Pod Race is the one that I do have. I have Anakin and Sebulba's Pod Racer, but a later set, like a 2012 version or something.
Very cool. I was just at the Grove yesterday morning looking at. There was a toy shop there, and I went to go look at the Legos. There's a bunch of Star Wars stuff, so I was looking at them.
I mean, that was the start. That was the start, and they've obviously improved on like their kind of design philosophies and things like that. But it was also the start of just like licensed Lego sets in general, because this was before, they would go and then do like Harry Potter and Spider-Man pretty soon after this. But this was like a big thing for
Really?
Lego.
They didn't do like Marvel stuff before this at all?
No.
Wow, that's interesting.
I'm pretty sure this is their first thing like based on movie stuff.
The only other like older Lego Marvel set I knew about, and it probably happened after this then, but was just like an old Spider-Man one that like people wanted to get their hands on just for the minifigure.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like a big deal when I was younger because I wanted to make stop motion animation videos with like Lego figures. I think I showed you one of those before.
I think so. Yeah.
But I wanted a Spider-Man one. And it was like the only way you could get it at the time because they hadn't released all these Marvel. They weren't doing Marvel Legos like when I was a kid, really.
No, they had a few from like the Sam Raimi movies, but that was it.
Yeah. So the best I could get was like Mega Bricks or something.
Oh, Mega Blocks?
I don't even think it was Mega Blocks.
Oh.
I think it was like off-brand Mega Blocks.
Damn, okay.
So
yeah, they did have a Marvel thing or something like that I've seen. Yeah. This was a big move for the Lego company. Also, there were a ton of video games. 4, off the top of my head, I can think of 4 or 5 like main games, and then they also made like educational like little kid games too from the Lucas Learning
like DroidWorks type stuff.
Yeah. The Gungan Frontier is one of these where it's similar. Did you ever play like Spore?
Yeah, I did.
It's kind of like that. It's like ecosystem management.
Misa learned physiology.
Yeah. They have like Jabba's math hangout or something. I forget.
Yeah, that's the character I associate with mathematics.
Yeah, of course.
Gambling. Hey, man.
Look, we got Star Wars Early Learning Activity Center, Jar Jar's Journey Adventure Book. And then in terms of non-educational games, we've got Episode 1 Racer, which we played a little bit of.
Yeah.
We got Battle for Naboo, which is similar to the Rogue Squadron game. And then we also have just straight up the Phantom Menace, which was not on the N64, but for PC and PlayStation 1. And then there's, Jedi Power Battles also for PlayStation 1. Man, lots of games off the Phantom Menace. And they're okay. I would say Episode 1 Racer, really strong. Battle for Naboo, really fun. Phantom Menace game for PlayStation 1, not great, but really like fun and funny to play, and like
that's one that follows the story
game history. Yeah, it does. It is the most straight up like this is a video game adaptation of the movie.
Yeah,
and like all of those, there are silly like plot inconsistencies from the movie to justify like a video game level type of situation.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's where you can experience them busting out of the gas on the Trade Federation ship and slicing up battle droids early on.
Yeah, man. Yeah, what George Lucas say, those Jedi slicer those droids like butter.
Yeah.
Man, I keep thinking and I know I've said this before, but again, like if I was a Star Wars fan when I was younger, I probably would have played a ton of these games too, just through virtue of like going to Blockbuster at the time. And I know if I'd seen like, because I would get like the Robots game from like the animated film. So like I know I would pick up Star Wars if I'd seen it at the time.
For sure. Dude, the movie games worked on me hard as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe we've talked about this before, but like, I have a lot of regret of giving away some really amazing video games that are now super expensive to buy if I wanted. Like, um, not super expensive, but like
More than you want to
Mario
pay for.
Sunshine for the
Yeah.
GameCube or Twilight Princess, Mario Galaxy. Like, yeah, more than I would want to pay for. Pokemon Emerald, like all of these games that I wish I still had that I would give to GameStop for like pennies on the dollar of store credit.
Yeah.
The main one I can remember is giving away, like, I don't remember exactly which games, but a lot of high quality good games so that I could get the Shrek the Third DS game,
Oh man.
which I played for, even as a kid, I played it for about 30 minutes before I started to get really upset that I traded in those games for
Yeah,
it.
dude. But a Shrek movie adaptation probably not going to be good, but a DS Shrek movie adaptation, it's like the watered down version of the
Yeah.
watered down version. Dude.
Absolutely.
That's rough. I'm sorry.
And I mean, I even think I was so stupid that I was imagining it to be like what I saw in the commercials of like the Wii and Xbox 360 version, or
Yeah.
maybe it was PS2 and Xbox.
That'd be crazy on my DS.
Yeah,
I have
and
to. I get that, honestly.
just so stupid.
Yeah, I have a lot of regret for basically everything I've ever traded into GameStop. I'm just like, I should have never traded in anything to them.
No.
I wish I still had all those things I traded in.
But when you're a kid, that seems like one of the only ways to like get money.
Yeah.
In quotes.
So you got to recycle like 3 games to get one new one.
Mhm.
Like that's how. But
Sad. My
Yeah.
huge collections just gone.
dude, I still wish I had my 3DS. Even I'm like, man, that was a cool console. Like, had some fun little games I like to play on it, and now they're absurdly expensive to get if I wanted to buy one again.
Really.
So
I still have my 3DS, and I think that was at the point where I stopped getting rid of games.
yeah.
I still have all my 3DS games.
I was right after that was the last one I start where I was like, okay, I'm still gonna sell this to get a Switch or whatever. You know?
right.
I think that's what. Unless there was like, maybe I don't
The
know if I got.
Wii U? Did you
well,
get the Wii U?
No, I didn't get the Wii U, but I don't know if I got like the new Nintendo 3DS. You know,
like the XL or whatever.
the one that's just called no, because Nintendo's naming system got terrible there,
Yeah.
but like, because there's the Nintendo 3D, or well, sorry, Jesus Christ, there's the one that's called the new Nintendo 3DS, and there's the new Nintendo 3DS XL.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I think
and there's the 2DS.
yeah, and the 2DS XL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn. Well, bummer. Regardless.
yeah. So
Yeah. That's to say, there were a lot of games for the Phantom Menace, and I agree with you that if I was like 7 or 8 years old when the movie came out, and I walked into Blockbuster and saw Phantom Menace game, like, yes, please, sign me up. Even now, I still would be like that.
dude, we want to hit up Blockbuster after this?
Yeah, let's do it. Wah.
No.
There was like some. I don't really like this kind of thing, but I don't mean to be disparaging to people who do. But there was like a pop-up bar that was like Blockbuster themed in LA. I think it's not there anymore. I think it was just like a limited time thing. And it's like, man, part of me is like, oh yeah, that's cool. I like themed experiences. But then there's another part that's like, that is so like millennial nostalgia coded. Like,
But
I have a love and hate relationship with that kind of thing.
But if a pop-up bar appeared and it was Star Wars themed,
Well, dude, we've talked about it before. We have to go to the Star Wars bar
yeah,
on
I know.
Hollywood Boulevard, and I think if we turn the Revenge of the Sith night into a party where a lot of people come, we should go watch the movie and then go to the bar afterwards.
that sounds good.
And
everyone's invited. You have to
Yes.
figure out the night though.
hey, well, it will be April 25th. So doxing ourselves.
Yeah.
If you live in Los Angeles and you want to hang out with the Beggars Canyon boys, now you can do it.
Careful.
I honestly, if there was like one person that came up to us at the Star Wars bar and was like, "I'm a fan and I came because of that," I'm not telling them where we live. LA is a big city. There's tons of movie theaters. They won't even know what theater we're going
That's
to
true.
see.
You
it
said
in.
you'd buy them a drink even, didn't you?
I'll go ahead and say yes. I will buy them a drink.
I don't need to volunteer for that.
In the far-fetched world,
every single fan that shows up gets a free drink from you.
The first person that tells me they're a fan of Beggars Canyon Boys.
First person on April 26th to find Jackson.
Yeah,
at this bar. Okay,
I'm
gonna have a random person do it so you can buy them a free drink. And then I'm gonna
don't fucking trick me into thinking that I'm gonna have to be glued to your side the whole night so that you can't go away and do a little secret plan.
I'm going to. Then I'm gonna have the person immediately slide me over the drink you just bought them, and I'll sip it with a little devious smile on my face.
And now here's the thing. Now that you've told me that, if someone does come up and genuinely do that, I'm gonna think it's a trick.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but realistically, the odds of someone actually showing up purely just based off this are probably, I'd say, lower than me just pulling that goof on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
So that's a reasonable thing to suspect.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm just saying, on the off chance it is a genuine fan, I will probably be cold to them now.
Well, don't. I won't do it. Don't do it.
All right.
It's not worth the risk to be cruel to one of our beloved fans.
You're right. Okay. Well, we're running long. So let's quickly go over the comic books that we read for today.
Okay, we are talking about this. For a second, I was like, are we not talking about that?
If you want to.
No, I thought I got ahead, but no, I'm happy to talk. I read it, so.
Just because next episode's going to be Attack of the Clones, we got no time to talk about comic books.
And this comic, to be honest with you, such a quick read. Like
the Darth Maul one?
Yeah.
Really cool, too, I thought.
4 issues. The first issue's mostly action.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. I did like it.
It's nothing like mind-blowing, but it's just the art is really nice, and the violence and the action is cool, and it posits Darth Maul as a real badass.
He's everything Boba Fett wishes he could be in some of those solo books, honestly. He's getting the response that I thought Boba Fett would have been getting, where it's like people crawling away from him, already stabbed, being like, please don't kill me. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's great. I mean, and he's scary. He's a scary presence. This is a Darth Maul miniseries, just called Darth Maul, released in 2000, so a little bit after the movie. 4-issue series. Takes place before the Phantom Menace. Obvious by the fact that he still has his legs connected to his torso. This is written by Ron Mars, who writes a lot of Marvel and DC stuff.
Some Hulk stuff, right? Name's a little familiar.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I guess we already said what we think a little bit, but this essentially is Palpatine telling Darth Maul he needs to... Man, I kind of forget the details, but is it that they have like a working relationship with the Black Sun, but there's part of it that's maybe getting rebellious and whatever, and he's like, hey, go put down this guy.
I think he was just saying it's becoming too autonomous, really. And as you were like too big, so they need to make it a little more chaotic again and frantic and
trim the fat a little bit.
Create a power struggle within them, so they're fighting each other and not thinking about anything greater. Was kind of like the purpose of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Really just an excuse for Darth Maul to go mow down the Black Sun gang, which I love. I think it's a good connection, too. Like, if you're going to use a group to do something like that, that was a good choice.
Yeah.
Because, we have some connection to them, and I don't know, the movies probably don't use them in the future, but it does help answer, if anyone was like, why don't they ever show up in the movies? Like, they're a big group that's getting bigger and bigger. Well, Darth Maul took care of it. That's why.
Yeah, true.
But, yeah, I love the action, there's the one moment where they're like, I wouldn't believe if I didn't see it with my own eyes. You just took out 7 of the galaxy's deadliest warriors in quicker than I've taken to say this.
Yeah.
And that moment's fun because I was like, man, I read this, but I didn't even know if I saw him take down 7 guys. And you go back and you're like, no, he did. Takes down those 7 guys.
Yeah, but it is like blink and you miss it, which is
a roll takes down 2 of them basically.
I think it's crazy to communicate that in a comic book too, where the time it takes is really up to you as how long you're looking at each picture. But yeah, it's cool. You're totally right. It posits him as a true badass, like someone to be scared of for sure, and doesn't undercut that ever with some silliness or anything. And
dude, it heightens it even. I don't even really know the full context of this, so it probably meant more for you. Have you read this one before, by the way?
Yes, yeah.
So the Night Sister from Dagobah, is it?
From Dathomir.
Or
Yeah.
No, Dagobah's
That's where Yoda is.
yeah.
Yeah. But hey, it's close.
Yeah. First of all, I have not seen one of them before, the Night Sisters,
Mm-hmm.
right?
This is added after the fact, but the witch in the second Ewok movie is technically a Night Sister.
I was thinking maybe an Ewok thing. Okay. But she looked so cool.
Yes.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Like the monochromatic puppet look is terrifying. But she's like, you do know what I am, right? Like I'm a Night Sister. And, like that moment is awesome because it's said with like such authority behind it, and she's such confidence about her abilities because of that. And he's like, you don't even know what I am. It's awesome.
Yeah. And she's probably rightfully confident because like everybody else she's had to confront, like, oh, I'm a Night Sister. They're probably scared of that. But you came across the wrong guy here.
Yeah. Makes me so curious about Darth Maul. Like, I don't know what they're trying to imply about him. I don't know if it's obvious and I'm missing it, or like there's deeper. I don't know. If he's just so on the dark side, because there's moments where like the telepath character looks into his mind and like dies from looking into his mind because it's so dark.
Yeah.
It makes him seem like bigger, grander than just like a fallen Jedi or something, you know?
Yeah. And he says in the movie and in this, like, oh, we're gonna get revenge on the Jedi. So like clearly in his mind, the Jedi have wronged him in some way.
Yeah, he gets really pissed when they even assume he's a Jedi in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. It's fun, quick. Doesn't like, change the game or anything, but
I will learn his full story though, right? Like,
depending on how much content we consume.
Damn, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. You can't just throw me that guy in the... Well, I'll see what they do with the movies.
Yeah, I don't want to say. Well, any other Darth Maul thoughts, or should we talk about the Return of the Jedi adaptation?
Did we see him shirtless in the movie? No, we didn't.
No,
did we?
No.
He got those tattoos all over his body. That was interesting to me. I was like, oh, okay.
God, what a good design!
It's cool.
So intimidating, and like, you just look at him, you're like, that guy will kill me.
I really randomly saw, and like, I'm just pointing this out because it's something I saw, not an endorsement of the comic at all, because I really know nothing about it. It was like one of those Facebook comics that old people share, basically. And it was like, the premise is it's a kid's birthday party, and there's a face painter. And the joke was like, kids would be like, oh, I want like to be a dog. And she'd be like, nope, you're going to be this. And I want to be a cat. And they're like, sorry, I only know how to do this. And then all the kids were Darth Maul. She was like, I only know how to draw Darth Maul.
That's kind of funny.
And I was like, that is really interesting. Like, that I'm seeing this right after watching Phantom Menace. It's just funny the way these things pop up after they're introduced. And I'm like, my mind can't separate.
It's almost like all your devices are listening to your conversations.
Well, true. That could be it. But
nah, that might not.
A lot of this stuff is just really random.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, there's no way there's any like UTM tags that would have identified that, you know?
Right.
But whatever.
I mean, yeah, I think it's probably a combination of coincidence, algorithm, and that thing of like, oh, when you learn a new word and then you start hearing it all the time, it's like, oh, well, I guess that's probably just because that word wasn't even registering as like something I was thinking about before. And then now I'm not trying to like assume how your brain works or anything. I'm just saying this.
Oh, you couldn't. You couldn't last a day in this brain.
I would take one look in there and I would go, no, it's too dark. It's too dark. I didn't mean to.
You'd start having a nosebleed and then you just fall to the ground. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. And it's interesting to see the ties between Darth Maul and the Black Sun. Something to file away for later.
Okay.
All right. So, final little piece for today. We've got the Return of the Jedi manga, rounding out our original trilogy manga adaptations. So, this was illustrated by Shinichi Hiramoto. And yeah, super accurately follows the story of the movie. Well, as always, I really like all three of these adaptations a lot. They're all different artists. They all slightly different styles. I think I still like the art style of the first one the best out of the three,
Mm.
but this one has some really strong moments.
Yeah, this dude's Rancor is wild.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. This guy's violence is wild in general.
Yeah, there's some pretty gnarly shots. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to remember, does Jabba die so gruesomely in the movie? Do we see it like that?
I mean,
actually?
he does like have his tongue stick out and his eyes bulge and stuff while he's getting suffocated, but it is a little muted by just like the way the puppet can express itself, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild
I
in
was like
this.
gross in this one. It was like
Mhm.
really, you could feel the veins popping out of his eyes and stuff. Just like, ugh.
Yeah. And Luke on top of the sail barge, like slicing up dudes.
Yeah.
Like there's like blood and they get like ripped in half. And when you see them like getting sliced through the middle and then be like their faces go crazy. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, this one's got some pretty awesome artwork on it. So I also really like the shot of it's not a gruesome one, but it's a cool shot and much more believable for me, like that Boba Fett survives it, of him falling into the Sarlacc pit
Mhm.
and he's like just got his arm sticking up as he gets swallowed in by it. I was
Yeah.
like, man, that looks sick.
The whole Sarlacc sequence was done really well, where like, man, it was just making me be like, that opening of that movie is super strong. Like,
Oh yeah.
Luke's whole plan, and I know we talked about it when we watched Return of the Jedi, but him being like, hey, like, this is your last chance. Like, obviously Jabba's just gonna laugh and be like, no, I'm gonna do what I was gonna do. But Luke is trying to resolve it non-violently, like multiple times. And we know it's not gonna work because of how Jabba operates, but like he's like, hey, set us free or die. Like, final warning, pretty much.
He kept his promise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but Leia did it. But still, it was Jabba's last day on, let's get say on Earth, but
On Tatooine.
yeah, on Tatooine.
And all his dudes die too.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
everybody dies there.
does the Twi'lek die there?
The dancing girl?
No, sorry, his main man Twi'lek.
Oh, Bib Fortuna.
Yeah, Bib.
No.
Lives to Bib another day?
No, you know what? He actually does live because there's a little book about him. You know the spider droid?
The one that like rolls?
No, it's shown in the movie in Return of the Jedi, very background, but in the manga too, right when C-3PO and R2-D2 are entering Jabba's palace, and there's like this mechanical spidery droid with like a brain in a jar underneath it.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, Bib Fortuna's brain gets put into that thing by like the cult of people who worship this spider droid in some short story.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, cool adaptation.
Yeah, I really liked it. Fun to look at. Again, better than like the comic book adaptations, but I was thinking about this. I was like, maybe it's because I don't know what the standard for like a manga is when it comes to pages, but they get like 80 pages per issue versus
Yeah.
like the 26 pages per issue that a comic gets, or like 32 at max. So they do have a lot more room to tell a story.
For sure. And I feel like they have a lot more leeway to give us like not only splash pages, but many like double page spreads that have barely any words on them and can really just show you like a sequence of action in a satisfying way.
Well, the comic could do that. I don't know why they don't.
Right. I just feel like American comics a lot of times just don't do that.
Yeah, especially older ones. They
Right.
definitely didn't want to do that, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think nowadays, American comic publishers are realizing like how much we like that satisfying aspect of manga that is showing like the move by move sequencing of a fight or a space battle. The ships look incredible in this too. The big splashes of the battle over Endor and all the Star Destroyers and X-Wings. I'm like, man, like this guy is good at drawing the ships.
I will say where I was disappointed, I feel like the Ewok designs didn't look as good as some of the other things in here. They didn't look bad at all, but like, I don't know, really, really nitpicking the artwork here because they're still good and the artwork is phenomenal for the most part. But I feel like they should have been shaded. Most of the Ewoks were not shaded at all.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
just like I felt like I had to color them in, you know.
I see that. Yeah.
So that's the only thing with the Ewoks.
I think some of the faces. Well, it's supposed to be like, those over emotingness, but Han Solo does it a lot where he does like the crazy smile and it you know just because of I'm so familiar with the movie and like the way the lines are delivered in the movie, there's like a little bit of what do you call that, friction, I guess, in my brain, but
Yeah. Because
that's
that
not
emotion isn't like matching up with the way that they would regulate their speech pattern in the film. Is that what you're
yeah, I
saying?
think so, which is not a real valid critique of the work itself. That's just like my experience of reading through it. But
Yeah, well, that's fair though.
yeah. Oh, I love the part where Darth Vader throws Palpatine into the pit.
Oh, when he becomes like jacked Vader for a second
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting art choice there. I liked it. I was like, they were going very experimental with how Vader was portrayed visually in this one at that moment. So I was like, wow.
And then other times too, like the angle of his face, like the dome part of the helmet kind of going like real long in some areas and everything.
Yeah. There's one shot where it's even like his helmet is like blending downwards into like the next shot.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
But the moment right before he grabs him and like Luke's getting electrocuted and he's like, "Father, help me." Then there's just like one huge splash page of the close up of Darth Vader's face before he decides to. I'm such a sucker for the close ups of his face. So much emotion conveyed in a completely emotionless face.
Vader's just cool like that.
And they do a great job of when Luke takes the helmet off, how his head looks, and like that looks really nice too.
Yeah, at that moment, again, I was thinking with this comic, I was like, I feel like you could just read this, if you read the other two manga adaptions, and you kind of got Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, it does that good a job.
They are the strongest things like that we've seen for sure. I still think like the music and the sounds are such a big part of it that you don't get.
You don't get that.
Yeah, exactly.
How do people do that so well?
I don't know. I'm not good at it.
There we go, a little better. Because I can roll my R's, but that's like rolling your throat.
For real, it's super guttural. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they do it, man. Those wizards at Lucasfilm.
Dude, what if the podcast was just us trying it out for like another 30 minutes?
Let's do it. I'm not doing
that. Was bad. Sorry. But I did one last one because I thought I was going to nail it. Then we could be like, done.
Hey, it's okay.
Fuck. Okay.
All right. Enough. Ready to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Next time, another big episode. We will be watching Attack of the Clones. Let's go.
That was a clone.
What are the clones? I mean, do you even know what the clones are?
No, I don't. I in my head, I think they clone a bunch of stormtroopers.
Okay.
But we haven't seen stormtroopers. Those are what the little droids are for right now in the prequels. So.
So we'll have to see.
Maybe this is the origin of stormtroopers. That'd be kind of interesting. I don't know.
We'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see. And I'm just excited for you to see another movie, and we'll be one step closer to completing the saga.
Maybe I shouldn't ask you this so close, but have I asked you before what your ranking for the prequels are?
Maybe you have. They really change all the time. I have a hard time deciding because it's like you were saying about how a 6 out of 10 of one movie could be totally different than another 6 out of 10. It's like, what am I basing my like ranking off of? Am I basing it off of like lore, like Star Wars plot stuff? Am I basing it on like the movie making quality?
Yeah,
that sort of thing. It's hard to say.
Okay,
it's hard to say. But we'll revisit that when we finish them. Though,
I assume that you do have some that sort of lock into closer positions than others.
Sure.
But we can get to it.
But I don't want to. I would have to get into specifics, I feel like, to talk about it. So
Well, okay. I was gonna say I was right. Well, no. Okay, yeah. I won't say anything.
we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. But I'm excited to watch it with you.
Yeah, me
It'll
too.
be fun. So yeah, next 3 episodes: Attack of the Clones, the Clone Wars micro series, cartoon, and then Revenge of the Sith.
Crazy.
Marathon or sprint to the end
Yeah.
of the prequels.
Sprint through candy because it's all gonna be delicious and sweet.
I hope so.
Oh.
A lot of sweet. Might be some glass in the candy, though.
Well,
Not going to lie.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Yeah. What? May the Force be with you.
Yippee!